Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dot to Dot. Today, I got some amazing things I want to show you. Some new evidence on how the vault theory is confirmed through two documents: the map of the rocks on Oak Island by Fred Nolan and the 1937 survey. So let's go to Google Earth, and I will show you right now. This is basically in my last video called The Landing. If you haven't watched it, you should go back and watch it. This is what develops out of the landing, and you basically have this point that is established called the 429 extension, which is cone D to the headstone to this, and it extends out to the north anchor, and this is Nolan's cross right here. Also, that what is established is what's called the set point, and this is important because this point developed the scale that brought the Rochefoucauld map, and maybe I should put that up here so you can better understand that. The Rochefoucauld map is part of the vault theory, and it is basically a map of Oak Island and some various points that are to be found. But this is the Rochefoucauld map, and this is developed through this poem and these lines. If you watch the video called The Landing, you'll understand better. But what I'm going to show you is how two documents, the document that was created by Fred Nolan, which is a survey, which I call the Fred Nolan Survey. And this is basically this is it. And it is being referenced and scaled and oriented by his house. So for those that are thinking about, what I'm doing here, this is how I believe Fred Nolan scaled and referenced and oriented this map. So what we're looking at here is, here's the landing line that came in from Frog Island, and it goes to the landing point, which is the 429 extension. Now, basically, all this is just theoretically on paper. Now, what I'm going to show you right now is how the people that are perhaps the originators of what is on Oak Island, or searchers, and it may most likely be searchers that are looking for what is on Oak Island. And they must know something about this extension point, because we have this landing point going all the way through to right here. So one thing that can be done is a line can go north-south, and this drops from the extension point through this stone right here. And by the way, in the vault theory, the 429 extension goes all the way down, and that's how you find the south anchor. So we have this north-south line that is established from this rock and the 429 extension. Then we have a sight line in here where we can develop this triangulation right there. So this may be the first step that they used. Fred Nolan didn't catch this one, so I don't know. There's a couple of them in here, like this one right here. I couldn't find anything for, and he didn't have this one in here. So, but I can see where this could establish the 429 extension. So the next thing that is established with this array is from this stone through here. It goes through these two stones, and it connects with cone D. So now we have a triangulation developing that actually gives the axis, the Nolan's cross axis right here. And so you can basically say that we have a triangulation here from cone D to there. And we can establish this axis through these 2 points and through this one that came off of cone D, that one right there. So the next thing is we have a reference now to the axis of Nolan's cross. So we also have another stone piles that run north and south, true north and south, that are on here. This is one of the reasons also I know that this is accurately positioned, because in an interview I read about Fred Nolan talking about this triangle, and he said that there were 2 stone piles that ran north and south. Oh, another reason I know this is accurate too is because this is Fred Nolan's triangle. He also said that the base of the triangle ran 262 minutes, or 262 degrees and 30 minutes, which is 262 and a half. So this base triangle is at about 262 and 31.31 degrees. There, that's 42 degrees. So that's 262 and a half degrees. So this is another confirmation. This is lined up properly. So we have a north-south line that's run here, and we're referencing that to, we're going to get these 2 stones are going to be lined up with the landing point. They point to this landing point, which was on paper the original. Now, I wondered why. Why are they going? They have this line established. Why are they establishing this line? And this is why they may be establishing this line. It all has to do with terrain. And this is provided by Steve Cousins. Thanks, Steve. This is a very nice piece of work. And so this is basically showing the terrain, and the darker, the higher, and the green. So we're seeing that, we're at the top of this terrain, and we're looking towards this side. So this is one of the reasons why sighting it in over on this side may be a little less advantageous. Another reason too is we're going to be going down to the 522 entrance. So this is probably one of the reasons why they are sighting on up here. So another thing is we have this connection to the Frog Island landing, and the thing that is next connected with the Frog Island landing is the set point. So the next line here goes from, I'll do it so you can see. So you have this stone and this stone pile, and that lines up, and that goes to the set point. So now we've established a connection in this triangle between the axis of Nolan's cross and the landing, which is all, the landing and the set point are all a vault theory concept. So this line right here, I could not find anything for. So The next thing is from here to here, and Fred Nolan had that marked, we establish the north anchor. So this is the extension. Now this doesn't go exactly to the north anchor like I like it. You can see it's off a little bit. You can almost see like there's probably a stone there. But we're looking at, it's about 4.5 feet off. So it's within my tolerance. My tolerance is plus or minus 6 feet. So that's within my tolerance of acceptability. So we have this going out to the north anchor. And that gives us a triangulation through all these triangles to where you can establish that north anchor. Now the last one is the connection of these 3 stone piles. And that takes you down to what we call the 522 entrance. This is different from the oak entrance, which is here. This is actually where you enter the underground tunnel system as seen on the Ontiara document. So that goes right to it. It's a perfect alignment. So what we're seeing here basically is we're seeing the triangulation of these stone piles, which establish the axis of Nolan's cross in relationship to the set point, okay? And we're going to find out later with our next document, which is the 1937 survey, of why this is being shown here, because I think they're connected. I think they're either searcher or they're original. They may be searcher. The 1937 document seems to be something that may have been done later in time, and I know it's connected with Captain Kidd legend. So that's the Nolan's triangle, and as you can see, even if I was to force this thing into fitting in this map, how could I possibly make all these line up in the angularity that, how can I make all these angles line up? I can't. There's no way. This fits. It's not I'm making it fit like a lot of people have said before. It fits. It fits perfectly. And I know that Fred Nolan, he did make these maps. They're not accurate in some details, most of all in like where the position of head and shaft and chapel shaft is, because everybody knows that. Everybody knows where they are, and he doesn't want people to know or be able to understand this map. So there are things like the swamp, chapel, head and chapel shaft. They're not accurately located. This dock here is off a little bit, but he knows the dimensions of his home. He knows the angularity of his home, being a surveyor. So it makes sense to me that he would use this as a register. And also we have the north-south, which was in the interview that he said was there, and the 262 heading of the base of the triangle. So I'm pretty confident that this is an accurate depiction of what is on or what was on Oak Island. Unfortunately, Fred Nolan bulldozed all these stone piles away after he had surveyed them. So I don't know if you can even test it anymore. But this is pretty interesting to me, and it is something that I've been looking at for a long time, and I'm sharing it with you now. So let's move on to the 1937 survey. The 1937 survey. I used to use this one right here. And this is done by somebody, I forget who it was, but this is the one I had used for a long time. And I then discovered this one here. And this one is done by W.L. Johnson. And I found one that was done by George Bates. Now, George Bates was a man that actually worked with Charles Roper, that made this survey, that actually did all the measuring in 1937. And George Bates redrew this. And this is his. And one thing I like about it is that he gives measurements for these triangles that are up here. And I often wondered what these measurements were. And this is a drilled rock. And I believe this is a drilled rock too, because I read an article that was by Robert Restall. It was actually, I saw a map by Robert Restall, and he had mentioned there were two drilled rocks that were here. One was a white granite rock and one was a gray granite rock. So these may all be drilled rocks. Nobody knows. And guess what? They're not there anymore. So having to test this is pretty much impossible. But I like this survey for this reason. The other survey doesn't have this line that goes through here. And that is one of the things I like about this. Now, if you notice too, that he's got this coming this direction, and then it's not the same angle. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure that I think this was supposed to be a straight line through here. And if we look at, let me put up if we look at this 1937 photograph, aerial photograph, let me get this back up here. So if we look at this 1937 photograph, and I've adjusted it to where you can see the rocks here. See these rocks? There's 1, 2, 3. And the drilled rock, see these 4 right here? It's somewhere here. I think it's either here or here. It's one of these two. So when you take the 1937 survey, see, it looks like it may be going to this one. But these are the rocks that were used in this triangular pattern. Now you notice that this one, and I can't reconcile it to go in the center here, but if you take a line from this rock and you go through that's where he gets this angle, I believe. So I don't know why it's off like that, but this is how I believe the angle is determined. Another thing is when I use this 1937 survey, this new one, this old one, it is, let me get it to come up here. If you notice, this old one gave me that this was off by this much. And the reason was, and I have them both located. First of all, I have them both scaled to the scales that come with them. And I have them registered going perfectly north-south. And the register is this large boulder. So I have them both registered on this large boulder. And that large boulder is visible on this, and there it is. You can see there's the large boulder right there. So that's how I register this 1937 survey. So we're going to take this 1937 survey, and one thing I like about these measurements is these measurements, they're triangles with measurements. So now I can understand the real angle that is coming off of these triangles, and I can measure them, and I can put lines, and I can measure these lines on Google Earth so that I know that they're accurate. So we got this right here going along the same path as the 1937 survey. Now, what I found was if I take a line, and it's not perfectly, it's off a little bit. And it is off 0.61 feet. So just over 6 inches. It's off. That's how accurate this thing is. So if I take a line off of this top angle, which I know is the proper angle because this line right here is 78.7. 78.7. So we know that angle is right. That's what I like about that survey. But this goes right to the set point. This is a vault theory point that is derived from the Rochefoucauld map. Here it is being pointed to, referenced to in this thing. Now, the set point is an interesting point because it establishes this scale, and this scale right here is 1,444 feet from this extension point, which is the extension point is cone D to the headstone to here. It's this distance mirrored over to here, and this is what gave us our scale, and it's 1,444 feet. So the next thing is that the vault theory says is from the set point to La Hampe is 1,444 feet. Well, guess where this points to? This top one right here. Let's go back. And you already probably know. It goes to La Hampe. And this one is not off at all. It's exact, right on the money to La Hampe. So these are 2 points that are totally vault theory points. The other next one is we have the stone triangle. 7 goes right to the 522 entrance. And we have this going to the 522 entrance. So the 1937 survey is at least this portion. I don't know what this portion is here, but the rest of the portion here is relating to the 522 entrance, La Hampe, and the set point. So I can't really tell you any more than that. also the true north. Everybody says the true north from the stone triangle goes to the money pit. It does not. It goes straight to the drilled rock. So this is a triangulation here, set to true north, just like we had up here. Let me put that back up. And Nolan's data. Oops. Let's take the terrain off. Take this off. Take Nolan's map off. So look at how we have a true north reference here, up in this survey site, a true north reference here, down in this survey site, and we also have, for the whole Nolan's Cross, we have a true north with the south anchor reference point. I think it's interesting that they have this signature, each one of them. So what else can I show you? I did a little playing around since this survey is basically really concentrating on this point right here, and that it is called out in rods because this distance right here is 231 feet. Oops, it always does that. This distance here is 231 feet. It says 230. It's off a little bit. But 231 feet is equal to 14 rods. So 14 rods is basically the dimensions. Let's see, is this working? Is the dimensions of the Captain Kidd Del Mar map. So let me take this off. And let's see, where is that? So anyway, this is if you take this line here from Nolan's map, and it's called the adjusted, I think it's the adjusted north line. And you also take the line here that is going to the 522, and you go here, and there's a boulder that's right here. Now you can sort of see it on this. It's right here. If I go to another one, you can see it better. Now these are not, the positioning of Google Earth changes, but you can see it right here. This is the boulder. It's, a little bit away from it. In this photo, it's 13 feet. But there's other ones, I believe, that it can go to. Here's one that's a little closer. You can see it right here. But anyway, this is what could be the 30 rod boulder. And that's what they were looking at when they were doing the 1937 survey. They were looking at some kind of correlation to this legend of Captain Kidd, 30 rods southwest, 14 rods north. And if you take these two lines from Nolan's survey and you start at their intersection point, which is the intersection from this line going to the 522 entrance and his adjusted north line, which I don't know why he did that, but he was researching something. If you take that, you come up with 64 feet by 168 feet by 192 feet. If you take all those sides and you divide them by 24, each one of them, you come up with 4, 7, 8. And on the Captain Kidd, it says 30, 30 rods southwest, 14 rods north, and 4 by 7 by 8, or 7 by 8 by 4. And this is a triangle that could be, in its proportions, thought of to be 4 by 7 by 8. Anyway, I hate to really put the Captain Kidd spin on this, but the reason why I'm sort of doing this in this video is because, we don't know. First of all, we don't know who put these on here, but I do know what they are doing. And if this is accurate, which I'm assuming that it is going to be accurate to some degree, even if it isn't accurate, how can it be pointing to all these things that relate to the vault theory? And how can they be connected in such a way, and with the signatures of the North Line? So this is a big revelation. It's evidence, because we're talking about many artifacts that were on the island, and Nolan's Cross, of course, is still on the island, and they all relate to the vault theory. And Captain Kidd, I think he was a searcher. I think he was on the island searching for this. He may even be the one that put the pulley on the original tree that the kids found on Oak Island that started this whole mystery. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.